Hey guys, welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bates III, and today's episode is about focusing your habits. If you haven't joined us before, if you haven't left me a review, if you can, please leave me a 5-star review. We have a saying around here, you have not because you've asked not, so I'm asking. Please leave me a 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then also make sure you give us a thumbs up. So today about focusing your habits. What do I mean by that? Well, there is this amazing challenge that is going around social media, and it was started from the Andy Frisella podcast called the 75 Hard Challenge. And I haven't personally done it myself, but I'm seriously considering doing it. And I think it's interesting how this challenge has really kind of gone viral and really taken a hold of entrepreneurs in and of themselves as such a powerful challenge, and how it creates change for people in their lives and in their businesses. And what I mean by that is because it's a pretty simple challenge overall. If you haven't looked at it, I'm not going to go through all the details. I'm just going to talk about a couple of different aspects of it, but it gives you certain things that you have to do every single day for 75 days straight. And if you miss one of those items, then you have to start over at day one, no matter how far along in the challenge you are. But a couple of the aspects of focusing your habits, and what I mean by that is that make sure that the habits that you're creating for yourself are allowing you to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. So you remember episodes that we did back in December and January were very heavily goal-oriented. And we talked about what is it that you really want to achieve? Are you listening to yourself? And are you taking actions every day to achieve those goals? And you take, for an example, a challenge like the 75 Hard Challenge, where if you do anything in this life for 75 days straight, it becomes a habit. And so it's funny because I see a lot of people that do the 75 Hard Challenge. When they come out of it, they don't really stop. A lot of it has just become, that's how they live life now. And one of those examples is you have to maintain some kind of a diet. Okay, you can't drink alcohol. And there's no cheat meals. So whatever the diet is, you have to maintain that for 75 days straight. Now, what's funny about that is that's a very loose rule. And the fact that it doesn't say you have to maintain this specific diet. And the reason why is because some people do the 75 Hard Challenge because they want to lose weight. Some people want to do it because they want to build mass. Some people want to do it just because they want to be healthier, right? That's just an aspect of the challenge. And so it allows you to be very focused on whatever diet you're going to do, and it allows you to create a very focused habit. And I want to ask you to very seriously sit down and think about all of the habits that you're creating on a daily basis, whether it's something that you've come up with yourself, or it's something that an influencer of sorts or someone that is an expert in a specific field has told you to do. And those habits that you're creating for yourself, are they focused towards the results and the goals that you've set for yourself? I don't want you to look back in November and December of 2021 and think to yourself, the habits that I created for myself in March and April of 2021 didn't lead to these results that I wanted. So people talk about what time they wake up in the morning, the first things they do when they wake up in the morning. I've done many different things like this. I've gone to extreme lengths to the fact that when I go to sleep at night, I make sure I have a 12-ounce bottle of water that's sitting right next to my bedstand. So as soon as I wake up, I drink 12 ounces of water. And this is when I brush my teeth. And this is when I go to the restroom. This is when I shower. And this is exactly how many miles I jog in the morning. All of these types of different habits that I attempted to create for myself, but they were based off of someone else's opinion on what I wanted for my life. Own that. Own your habits that you're creating for yourself. Make sure you're really, truly creating the life that you want for yourself. And so make sure whatever the habits are, And then specifically for real estate investors, as most of the people that listen to the Titanium Vault are real estate investors, make sure you're also creating habits within your business that are going to achieve the type of revenue goals or whatever types of goals that you set for yourself. Maybe it's about the amount of properties that you're going to flip. Maybe it's amount of properties that you're going to own long term. Or maybe it's just about the amount of dollars that you're going to make in wholesale fees. Whatever it is, make sure that the habits that you're creating with your business are going to achieve those goals. Specifically, when we talk about marketing and how we're going to achieve those goals, make sure that you have a marketing flow that is allowing you to achieve those goals, tracking your KPIs and making sure, hey, I have to send out X amount of text messages, or I have to cold call and make this many dials. Or maybe it becomes even more granular where it's not about the amount of dials that you make, but it's about the amount of sellers that you're talking to or the amount of offers that you're making. What actions are you taking to achieve those goals and make it a habit? But make sure it's a focus habit. That's really what this is about, because as many of you know, or maybe this is news to some of you guys, Cassie and myself and all of Titanium Investments has partnered with Aaron Bevins and Annalise Maddox down in San Antonio, Texas, our good friends, with creating the REI CRM. It's a new CRM for real estate investors, and we think it's a top-notch product. We've spent a lot of time and energy creating something that's not only going to be a great resource for other investors, but it was also something that we needed inside our own businesses. And so that's why we're so passionate and we're so confident in this product. But every Tuesday at 4 p.m., we have our level 10 meetings, which is from the book Traction, which is sitting right behind me. We follow along with the EOS implementation system from Traction. And so we have our level 10 meetings every Tuesday at 4 p.m. And yesterday, when we were having our level 10 meeting, Aaron kind of ended the meeting with sharing an article from sports greats. It was about, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Joe Montana. And it was an article written about how they dominated their sports, but how did they actually become dominant figures in their chosen sport? And Wayne Gretzky talked about the habits that they created within practice. He talked about how every great shot has already been taken thousands of times within practice. That's why it's so easy for them to achieve those results when it comes to game time, because the habits had already been created. Michael Jordan had already created all of the game-winning shots that he made in games thousands of times during practice. That's how he got there. And it went even further to the fact where Wayne Gretzky said, it really doesn't come down to talent, and it really doesn't come down to work ethic. It really came down to the mindset of practice. He talked about the fact that what he felt like differentiated himself from other greats in hockey is the fact that he never got bored in practice. He found practice to be what made him great. And he was more excited to go to practice sometimes than he was really to go to the games. And that really resonated with me, and it kind of spurred the idea to do this podcast here and just talk about that, because I think it's very interesting as entrepreneurs. Sometimes we don't want to necessarily focus on the granular details of our marketing efforts, or how many texts we're sending, or how we're having those conversations. Sure, sometimes we'll focus on it. Sometimes we'll listen to a podcast, or we'll maybe even take the steps to invest in ourselves and go to a 2 or 3 day training program about a specific topic within our business. But is it something that you still regularly focus on, really, truly have focused habits on? And that's something I just wanted to just instill today through this podcast and really make you just think about it. Like, am I building focused habits in my personal life as well as within my business? Because as business leaders, that's our responsibility. That is our obligation to our team, to our family, and to ourselves, is to make sure that we're taking those steps that we're building those focus habits to achieve the goals that we so easily talk about in December and January, right? We talk about we want to achieve these goals, but sometimes it's hard to talk about them in March and April and May because we're just in the grind of it, right? It's not the end of the year. It's not the beginning of the year. We're right smack dab in the middle of the year. We're starting quarter 2 or we're wrapping up quarter 1. So think about that. Think about those goals and how on fire you were to achieve them. And no matter where you are, maybe you're behind or maybe you're ahead, still think about, are you building focused habits to achieve those goals? All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Again, if you're watching on iTunes, make sure you drop us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.